things might get a little gross around here. Hey guys, welcome to another sewing episode. I'm Kristen, also known as Voolenvine, here on my YouTube channel, where I chat about what I'm knitting, what I'm sewing, what I'm making, or whatever crafty rabbit hole I happen to be diving down. And as I mentioned, this is another sewing episode. Finally, a sewing episode. I got some sewing done, my friends. As I mentioned, these past couple of weeks, my sewing mojo has been in the dumps, so to speak. But this week, I took some time off to recharge from work and to hopefully get some sewing done. And my friends, I got some sewing done. And yes, it is this dress that I'm currently wearing, which I will get to in a moment. But first, just a couple of announcements. Of course, we have our history make-along that is currently underway, and that is our year-long make-along. Well, we're all endeavoring to make something historically inspired prior to the 1950s. So the idea is to choose a time period or an era that you're drawn to and make something inspired by it. So whatever your craft is, you are welcome to join. And there are a few ways to participate. One way is to hop on over to the Voolenvine Ravelry group, where you can share your progress, root each other on, share links to patterns and inspiration. It's just a lively, lively group, and definitely recommend checking it out. But if you are unable to access Ravelry, you can always participate on Instagram using hashtag HistoryMAL. And as I mention every week, I do follow that hashtag, and it's just been so fun keeping up with your projects, your progress, and this is by far one of my favorite make-alongs that I've ever hosted, so do check it out. And last but not least, this channel is sponsored by the one and only Skillshare, which is an online learning community platform where you can learn pretty much anything. I use it all the time for taking crash courses and things that I need to learn in the moment, be it Adobe Premiere editing techniques, or I'm actually taking a class in photography composition, something that I'm kind of struggling with. As you know, I'm obsessed with photography, so I've been learning a whole bunch of things on Skillshare when it comes to photography. And when it comes to sewing, I did notice that they happen to have a class on draping, which is a sewing technique that I've been wanting to learn for a long time. So that one is definitely added to my watch list. And if that's something that interests you, I'm gonna leave a link in the description box below where you can try Skillshare for 2 months, absolutely free, on yours truly. You're welcome, enjoy, and thank you, Skillshare. All right, my friends, let's chat about what I'm wearing. This is a pattern that I've had in my stash for quite some time. It is by Isaac Mizrahi for Vogue Patterns, V1554. And as you can see, it is a sleeveless shift dress, I guess you could call it. Is it a shift dress? I'm gonna go with it, sure, shift dress. And it has some contrasting fabrics, contrasting fabric yoke, pleating detail, which is really interesting, and then a tie at the waist, and then this really pretty lace insertion at the hem. And as soon as I rediscovered it in my stash, this fabric immediately came to mind. Yes, it is mauve, my friends. I mean, are you not surprised? Yeah, I mean, I think I've sewn my dream mauve dress. I'm done. I don't need any more mauve dresses at all in my life, said Kristen Never. Wow. I'm in rare form today, guys. But yes, this glorious mauve challis fabric came to mind, and also this really stunning lace panel that I purchased from Mary Not Martha on Etsy. She has these really beautiful lace trims, really great prices too, and you know, of course it was mauve and I had to have it in my life. So these two materials were just meant to go together. And again, as soon as I saw that pattern in my stash, I was like, I am so putting those things together and I'm making a dress out of it. And while the pattern does call for a third contrasting fabric, I couldn't find any suitable fabric in my stash that would complement the mauve. So I thought, why not just keep it going with the lace, you know, just roll with it. Which actually works out, because if you watch this channel, you probably saw where I was going with this. Yes, I saw plenty of opportunity to work some Edwardian Victorian flair into the finished garment, guys. So I went all out. Not only did I go full on with the lace, I also used some hand stitching techniques from the totally left my book upstairs. I'm in my dungeon right now, guys. Sorry, so I'll probably insert a photo of it here, but I have this really amazing book called Authentic Victorian Sewing Techniques. I think that's the title, but it has all these, as the title suggests, it has all these wonderful authentic sewing techniques that were employed during the Victorian times. So when it came to the lace yoke, I had to deviate from the pattern because the pattern has you cut out linings and facings, and clearly with lace, you would just be able to see straight through to those facings. So I left out the facings and just did an hour rolled hem around the neckline and the sleeves. And I will be honest, I wasn't sure how well that was going to work out, but I was pleasantly surprised how well that worked out. But all that to say that yes, there was a lot of hand stitching involved in the making of this dress. You know what? I'm not even gonna stand up because I'm just going to be knocking down a whole bunch of lights, and that will not help us out at all. So instead, I'm just going to insert a photo here so you can see what the dress looks like in all its glory. I also deviated from the pattern when it came to inserting the lace near the hem of the skirt. Instead of doing what the pattern said, I referred to the Victorian sewing technique book and followed instructions for inserting lace. But this detail right here, I am so in love with. It's, you know, while it looks intentional, and it was, it's actually serving to cover up some janky hand stitching, which it wasn't terrible, but I knew it was there. And anyway, I'm really happy with the way that this worked out also. And I was debating whether or not to even include it, because without it, not only would you be able to see those janky stitches, but I felt like this part here was a little plain. So you can see like this, the lace motif is vertical. We're adding this nice little horizontal contrast, kind of adds a little more historical flair, so to speak. It was really fun getting to employ all those little Victorian sewing techniques throughout this dress. So I definitely got a lot of practice in hand stitching. While this took me quite some time to finish, it was just such an enjoyable process, and my sewing mojo is back, my friends. I'm happy to report. So yay, so excited for that. And I'm trying to think what else I wanted to say about this other than I am absolutely smitten with this. I am pretty much just gonna live in it for forever, so things might get a little gross around here. I'm actually going to write a blog post that will deep dive into the construction of this dress because I did have to finagle and work around a couple of other things that, anyway, I'll save it for the blog post, which I will link to down below. And it's been a while since I've updated my sewing blog, so I need to give it some love. But yes, it is alive and kicking, and you can check out the blog post if you are interested in learning how I constructed this mauve nightmare. Suddenly I'm reminded of that scene from A Christmas Story when Ralphie is coming down the stairs dressed up in that giant pink bunny outfit that his aunt sewed him, and his father's like, "He looks like a pink nightmare."
He looks like a pink nightmare. Are you happy wearing that?
Again, another short episode, but unfortunately this is all that I've had time to sew in the past couple of days. But now that my sojo is in full swing again, hopefully I will have some more finished objects to share with you in the coming weeks. But I will not just end things there because I didn't want to leave you guys hanging without some, you know, sewing inspiration. If you are into historical sewing or want to add some Edwardian flair to your wardrobe, I did stumble on some new patterns that were just released or recently released because, as you know, I stalk thefoldline.com on a daily basis just to see what new patterns have come out. It's a hobby, not an obsession, I promise. But if you are into the history bounding like I am, these are some patterns that you might be interested in making yourself. So this is a pattern by Made My Day Patterns, and they are calling it Top 19. It's a really sweet blouse with ruffle butterfly sleeves, I want to say. It's a little too frou-frou for me, but it definitely has that Edwardian vibe to it. So if that's something that strikes your fancy, hop on board and sew it up. But the one that I actually do have that I purchased a while back is the Lola top by FibreMood. I am all over this top like nobody's business. I think I'm gonna whip one up for myself right after I'm done recording this or editing it or getting it up on the YouTubes. But yes, the Lola top by FibreMood is very similar to Top 19 by Made My Day Patterns, where it has the frilly kind of ruffles at the sleeves, which in hindsight is normally not my cup of tea, but I do have some really lovely black eyelet fabric in my stash. I mean, are you surprised? I'm not surprised. But yes, I do happen to have some black eyelet fabric in my stash that would be perfect for this pattern. So I think after I'm done recording this, I might just hop on that bandwagon. And then finally, I mentioned this in my last episode, in my last knitting episode. Was it my last knitting episode? No, it was my favorites episode for August 2020. Folkwear Patterns just released a PDF version of their walking skirt. So yeah, again, walking skirts are so versatile. You could have so much fun with them. Try different fabrics and, you know, make them as modern or as historically accurate as you want. But yeah, I was really excited to see that they released this pattern as a PDF. So I think I might try that pattern out as well at some point. So yeah. Anyway, I think I'm going to end things there, guys. Again, short episode. Once again, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you guys are doing well wherever you are in the world. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to like and subscribe down below. I put out 2 videos for your viewing pleasure every week. That said, happy knitting, happy sewing, happy making, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye!